Shemot, Parak Vav, Pasuk Bet. Vaydaber Elohim el Moshe, vayomer elav ani Hashem, vayira el Avraham el Yitzchak vel Yaacov, be'el Shaddai, ushmi Adonai lo nadati lahem. And God spoke to Moshe and said to them, I am God. I appeared to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaacov as El Shakkai, but my name God, YKVK, they did not know me. This pasuk is interesting, and not just because it opens my Bar Mitzvah Parsha. 6 chapters into Shemot, God seems to start fresh. God reintroduces the mission, enumerating 5 synonyms of saving and explaining the goal to bring the Israelites to Canaan. God is not the only one who's reintroduced. The text also provides a complete lineage for Moshe and Aharon. In chapter 2, the text does not give the name to Moshe's family, only a man from Levi who married a daughter from Levi. Even Moshe's sister Miriam is only referred to as his sister. Why the need for all these reintroductions late in the story? The answer to this may come from the very first word of the second verse, Vayedaber. Until now, God always spoke to Moshe in the Vayomer verb. Vayomer is a less intimate form of speaking used when one simply talks to another. Vayedaber is intimate. It connotes a connection between the speaker and the subject. The first time that God uses Vayedaber for Avraham is in Genesis 17, when God reintroduces himself to as El Shakkai, the name El Shakkai that he mentions to Moshe. Bereshit Yud Zayin Pasuk Aleph. Vayhi Avram betishim shana v'tesha shanim, vayar Hashem al Avram, vayomer elav ani Hashem, ani El Shaddai telech lefanai v'yeh tamim. And when Avram was 99 years old, the Lord appeared to Avram and said to him, I am God Almighty, El Shakkai, walk before me and you will be wholehearted. This is also when God tells Avram he will have a son, changes Avraham and Sarah's names, and commands Avraham to perform a circumcision. This point of the story is similar to Moshe's. If we go back a little bit in the Avram story to chapter 15 of Genesis, God appeared to Avram in the covenant of parts and promised him offspring, and those offspring would be strangers in Egypt. Next, in chapter 16, Sarah gives Avram Hagar, and Avraham has Yishmael. This offspring is a false start to God's initial promise to Avram. After this, God appears to him, reintroduces himself, and promises him Yitzchak, followed by a commandment for circumcision. In Shemot, God commanded Moshe at the burning bush to go to Paro to request that the Israelites be freed. Moshe reluctantly agreed, but the initial meeting was a disaster. The people do not believe him, and Paro increases their work. That is Moshe's false start. God returns now and reintroduces himself to Moshe. God promises again that the people will be freed, and that Moshe does not need to worry. This time, when Moshe protests, he claims to have uncircumcised lips, that God then says he will fix through Aaron. In outline form, it's as follows. Number 1, God makes promises to his people in Egypt at a miraculous event. The covenant of the parts with Avraham and the burning bush with Moshe. Part 2, a false start to this promise. Yishmael with Avraham and Moshe's first visit to Paro here in Shemot. 3, there's a reintroduction to the full promise, and then it's some sort of connection to circumcision. El Shakkai and Brit Milah for Avraham, and YKVK with El Shakkai and uncircumcised lips here for Moshe. And finally, 4, a new full lineage appears. After step 4 to Avraham, things begin to turn around and all of God's promises come true. So too here, God links the stories to show that just like with Avraham, with Moshe, everything will begin to turn around and his promises will be fulfilled.